So a few years ago, I did a review of the first Curse of the Moon game, which I absolutely loved. And here we are, and this was a big surprise to me. I didn't even know that they were making a sequel. Here's the sequel. It's Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2. Ryan and I both played it. I think we're both about to the same spot. I think we made it to about stage 6. And so far I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was really excited when the original Kickstarter was announced for Bloodstained. And I was looking at all of the Kickstarter rewards that were coming down. And there was, we're going to do an 8-bit inspired one if we get to this certain level. Well, as we all know, the Bloodstained Kickstarter did amazing. Curse of the Moon came out. It was a great game. I think you played it like on multiple difficulties. Like
I did a lot with it. I streamed the hell out of it because there's something really interesting that you can do that they brought into it is that you can recruit the extra characters, you can kill the extra characters, or you can pass by the other characters. And I think I did all of that. And then I recorded extra footage because I did a written review on it. So I got really, really into the first Curse of the Moon game, and I loved it. Because at the same time, I love Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, as you do. We grew up with that. If you love those games and if you love the last game, that's what this is. It's more of that. And from what I played, they do a pretty good job. It's pretty similar to the other game.
I want to talk a little bit about the history of the 8-bit Castlevania games, and I think it's really important to do that. There's Castlevania 1, where you just play as Simon Belmont. Castlevania 2 has more RPG elements. You're still playing as Simon Belmont, but you collect items, you have experience, you go through, get different whips, all of that. It's more of an adventure. And, if you look at games like Symphony of the Night and things like that, you would think that they kind of borrow a lot from Castlevania 2. But now the Bloodstained Curse of the Moon series really looks at Castlevania 3, where they went back to the original model, but they added 2 really important things. The first thing they added was the ability for now Trevor Belmont to find companions. Mm-hmm. And in that game, it was Grant, Sypha, and Alucard. Mm-hmm. But they also added the idea of having multiple branching paths through the world. So in Castlevania 1, you just go through all of the levels, you get to Dracula, you kill him, game over. When you get to Castlevania 3, it's not a Metroidvania. It's not a map that you go through like a sprawling castle collecting things. Instead, it is you get to crossroads. Mm-hmm. And then you have to decide whether you're going to go up or down, which way you're going to go, and then that determines who you're going to see. In most playthroughs, if you just kind of follow the easy path, you're not going to get to Alucard. Mm-hmm. He's kind of far in the corner.
He's the hardest one to do.
Yeah. Versus like the Grant way, if you play Grant right, it's super short.
Yeah.
It's
if you do the Japanese version of the game and you get Grant, he actually gets a dagger that he can continually throw, and it makes the game pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, so those games are legendary. We know all about them. Mm-hmm. Now, what the Curse of the Moon series did was take kind of the height of the NES form of Castlevania, which is Castlevania 3, mm-hmm. and give us a Castlevania-inspired 8-bit-esque new game, indie game, that sort of thing. And honestly, I enjoyed the original Curse of the Moon way more than the actual Bloodstained that everybody was looking at in the Kickstarter.
So I feel like people must have been, because it did well, hungry for that type of game with the first Curse of the Moon. You also have to remember, between Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse and Curse of the Moon, the thing that did fill in the gap in between there is all the hacks that people made, and homebrews and that type of thing. There was that community. But when you look at a Castlevania hack, it's Castlevania, and it's usually they'll change the stages around and things like that. And a lot of those are good. But Curse of the Moon brought in so many new elements, new mechanics, new characters. It's its own thing, and I think that was exciting. And it's what people have really wanted for a long time. It's just not Konami doing it.
Right.
And, they brought back some people that worked on the old Castlevania games. I don't believe anybody that was from the NES era, but from the Symphony of the Night era. So there were people that worked in the Castlevania franchise that worked on these games, which is cool to have some kind of connection there.
The Bloodstained series as a whole, the big budget game and the
Ritual of the Night,
and Curse of the Moon and Curse of the Moon 2 do have a Castlevania lineage, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm. I want to mention something because people always say, I always think that the retro is better than the modern.
Yeah.
I got to point out something that's so much better about these new Curse of the Moon games, and that's how fast you can switch the characters.
Right.
In Dracula's Curse, when you switch between characters, it takes a long time to switch the characters, and a lot of people don't like that, and that I don't blame anybody. In the new game, you hit the shoulder button, and bam, 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 you can switch between all the characters really, really fast. And not only that, there's kind of a cool explosion kind of little effect, and that is so much better and so much quicker. So I like that.
So talking about new stuff being better than old stuff, recently my kids were playing with the new Super Soakers.
Okay.
So, Target right now has the new Super Soaker XP100 and XP50 that are they're inspired by
And
this.
I see you have a Super Soaker sitting there that literally, it looks exactly like the one I had when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I never was really into Super Soakers, but that's the one I had.
So I loved Super Soakers. We had water gun fights every day during the summer. And I remember this thing being amazing. Mm-hmm. So I bought this on eBay, and I paid way too much money for a water gun toy. But this is from 1989. This is the original Super Soaker 50, which is the original one that we had. My dog ate one of these. That's how crazy it was. And I was watching my kids use the new ones, and I was like, yeah, you may like these new ones, but the old one's where it's at. And I brought this out. It's way worse.
And they were like, sure, Dad.
Yeah, no, this as cool as it is and as close to my heart it is, it's way worse. There's a lot of issues, but I still love having it, and I wanted to show it to everybody. I don't feel that way about Curse of the Moon. I feel like the original Castlevania games stand on their own and are excellent experiences. And if you're enjoying playing Curse of the Moon or Curse of the Moon 2, you should go back and play the originals, because where there's a lot of things that are better about Curse of the Moon, from the fast character switching to the casual mode to a lot more friendly things that happen when you die versus the old Castlevania games. I really think that you do need to play the old games, because they'll give you they're excellent in their own right, way better than this.
I mean, it's what this is inspired by. You should play the originals.
But also, they're still fun, even though Curse of the Moon exists and it's new and flashy and it's the hot thing. The old games are still worth your time and are still super amazing, and they stand on their own.
I feel like people get intimidated to play the old games, especially Dracula's Curse, even the first Castlevania, because they're hard. They're hard games.
Super hard.
They're super hard games, but they're super worthwhile, I think, especially if when you do make progress, forget about even beating the game. How about you beat level 1, then try to get through level 2, and if you can eventually get through level 3, even just beating level 2 or level 3, those small accomplishments, I think you'll find worth it. So you had mentioned the casual mode.
Yeah.
That is something that they did in one of the old Castlevania games, Castlevania Chronicles. It was on an old computer, but they brought it to PlayStation 1. There were 2 modes in that. There was casual, and they called it something else in that, but here it's called casual and veteran. And I think that it's always great to have options.
Yeah.
I always like when a game, has easy, medium difficulty, because it's like you start it on easy and gradually work your way up. And I think that that's good, because when you go back to Dracula's Curse, there's no option there. That's why it's considered such a hard game. There's no easy mode. This has casual, to where there's no knockback, and a lot of people hate knockback.
Yeah.
That's something to get used to. For sure, and I get it. It's like almost like comical. Like the guy hits you and you fall down the pit and everything. But I do prefer to play it with knockback. But I've been playing it that way my whole life.
Yeah.
So when I turn this on, I turn on veteran. Because that's the way I like to play it, but I do think it should have casual because a lot of people get turned off by that, and I that's a shame because then they probably won't play the game. So I think it needs that.
Yeah, I think like with these games, like it took me a lot of time to beat Castlevania. I probably sat down and played it like 8 hours or something like that to finally get good enough to beat it. Well, now, you have so much going on in your life. You want to go back and forth. It's good that you can play a game on casual and you can see the story and see all the levels and do all the stuff. And then if you really like it, you go back, you play it on veteran, then you have the lives and you have the knockback and you have all the things like that.
And I haven't beaten it yet. Like I said, I'm only up to stage 6, but I would imagine when you beat it, if you beat it on veteran, you probably get something extra.
So it says, it specifically says when you pick it, it says that it doesn't affect like what you get.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't affect it. So let's talk about what's different about Castlevania, Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon 2. There are 3 brand new characters. Those brand new characters are Dominique, who is like a blue character with a spear who does healing. Mm-hmm. And you really want healing because this is a game about managing life bars and switching between characters to keep your life up. Because while your characters can lose health, as long as none of them die, you get to keep going.
Well, she does have that, but there's multiple things.
She has the spear up and the typhoon.
Yeah, she's all kinds of...
Yeah, but she's the healer.
Yeah, she is. And each character has 3 different things that they can get, I believe. 3 different sub-weapons, which is cool. I like that they changed the characters up because I think... I haven't beaten it yet, but I think on your second playthrough, you get the original characters from the impression I'm getting. But it's cool that they changed it up and gave you new characters because it's the second game. People might ask, well, what the hell's different about this game? It's like, well, here's a big difference. 3 new characters.
Right. So there are 7 characters in this game.
That's a lot.
Yeah. There's the 4 original... You start with Zangetsu, who's one of the original characters, and then there's...
He's like the main guy, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's the 3 new ones. So we went through Dominique, who's the blue spear healing wind magic user. You have Robert. Robert is awesome. And Robert's awesome because in these melee platformer games, it's always been difficult to have somebody who handles guns really well. And, a gun is way more powerful than a sword. In reality, like, if you have the gun from Contra in Castlevania, the game would be a joke. But Robert has, like, this bolt-action rifle that has a delay on it. Mm-hmm. Now, it goes super fast all the way across the screen. It's awesome. But he shoots slowly. So you're balancing range with attack speed.
Well, there's a bandana that you can get, which makes him actually be able to shoot a lot faster.
Yeah.
But then there's also, there's several different things he can do. You know what's good is it seems that Zangetsu and Robert both have weapons that can, like, sort of throw like a spear, or he has like the whip that goes up to the sky. Because you might have like things on the top of the level that you need to get to. So I found myself actually using Robert a lot because he had that. Because then you can clear out the top of the screen before you go. Because there's like a lot of hard platforming to get through. So I use him, actually, Robert, a lot.
Yeah.
Because he has the spear, plus he has the gun. And the gun is your like long range attack. But the one thing about Robert is that he has the lowest life bar.
Yeah.
So it's like he's probably gonna die, so you have to like that's where the the management comes in. It's like you can't just use him. You gotta like then play a little while as Hachi or something.
I felt like Robert is fine with the low life bar because he has the range attack, the grenades, the spear, the range gun. Right. Here's all the stuff. He'll get you from afar. Dominique is the character that I had the hardest time using, and I had the hardest time using her because you want to get close to the enemy. You have the spear. Mm-hmm. You have that. But she has a small life bar, just like Robert does. But she doesn't have the range.
What she is good for, though, she has the best jump.
Yes.
Sort of. Because then when you get to the final character, Hachi, he doesn't so much have a jump, but he has like
the hover.
He has a float, which is, that probably is the best. But I had a hard time with the hover, because the hover only lasts for so long, so you have to know exactly when it drops, and if it runs out at the wrong spot, you could die. But
Hachi, it's a corgi and a mech. Definitely, I feel like the developers of this game were playing some Overwatch, because he feels a lot like Wrecking Ball.
If you saw, like, Into the Spider-Verse, there's, like, that character where there's always the cute character inside, like, the mech kind of thing. So it's like that kind of character. But he has a ability to where you can turn it on, and it is an invincibility, where you get to a certain part in the stage and you're like, I can't beat this. This is really hard. You turn him on, he has invincibility. You're going to get through it.
Yeah. I feel the same way about his invincibility ability as I do about the invincibility ability in Shovel Knight. So in Shovel Knight, you can get an ability that basically makes it so enemies can't hit you. Mm-hmm. It's one of the special abilities that he gets. And I feel like this ability is good to have in the game, because it's going to get you through. Now, when you're going to want to play the different characters, like, honestly, I feel most comfortable with Zangetsu because it's Castlevania. I love especially once he gets the sword power up, where he can do the 3-hit combo, because he attacks fast.
And he's the best one.
He can knock a lot of the projectiles down. I love the card. He's like Gambit. His middle ability,
I like
throws a card on the bottom.
That's the thing I like the best about these, is the fact that you have the option to, like I said earlier, recruit, kill, or pass by the characters. That makes it so, for me, I did it. You want to play through the game.
In the first one, you're talking.
In the first one. I haven't done it for this yet. That you'll want to play through the game multiple times. And by the way, if you haven't played the first one, you should really play that too, because that game's awesome. I can't totally speak for this one because I haven't finished it yet, but what I played so far is really good. I love that in there, because you play through the game the first time, and the first time you play, I think usually you want to recruit the characters, because you want to be able to try out all the different characters. Then the next time you play through, you go through and you kill the characters, and then Zangetsu gets their abilities. It makes him just amazing.
Yeah.
He's so, like, overpowered, and he has these. I shouldn't say overpowered. It makes him so powerful that he just becomes awesome, and you just want to use Zangetsu. And then finally, and I think for me at least, this is the coolest part, the being able to pass by the characters means that you're not going to level up Zangetsu. This is like challenge mode.
Yeah.
You're going to pass by the characters and you're not going to get shit. Now try to get through the whole game with nothing, basically. Yeah. And I like that kind of shit. Yeah. So I think that's cool.
Now, in this game, as far as we've played so far, the characters just appear and he's like, yeah, let's go. Like, they don't have that mechanic.
It's different.
I'm curious, later in the game, once we beat things, will we be able to do that? Or are they just giving us like the tour?
That's the main thing I'm curious about, and we don't know yet. We haven't beaten. The game just came out, so
yeah. One of the big things that was added in this game is 2-player mode.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and being able to have multiple characters on the screen at the same time. The only thing I'm nervous about with it, where it looks like you can handle it, is it's a life bar management game, right? We need to see if there's like a resurrection mechanic or something.
I haven't tried it yet. I have no idea how it works. I'm interested to try it out because I've never seen something like that in this type of game. So,
but I definitely think that mode will be awesome to play with friends if when they die you can pick them back up or something like that.
Like, kind of like, you mean like in Castle Crashers where you go over to the character and like revive them? Are you saying like that or different?
If there's a way to carry somebody through the game so not everybody needs to be like executing on 110%.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I'd be worried about, like, let's say I was really good at it and you had never played it or something.
Right.
And then you fall down the hole and die. Does that mean that now I'm just playing it?
Right.
So I don't know how that works yet.
That's a concern. And that was the thing that I always struggled with games like River City Ransom or Double Dragon or Ninja Turtle. The best example, that one. Turtles 2.
Yeah.
If you lose, your friend loses all their lives.
Yeah.
You're just stuck.
That's what I'm struggling with every time I do an episode of Mike and Tony Tuesdays. every single game we play, Tony dies immediately, and I go on to finish the game.
Oh my God.
So I just like to say, Tony. And now we can cut to a clip of Tony saying, I'm bad at video games. Which he makes that point in every video.
Yeah.
So
I had a lot of fun starting to play Curse of the Moon 2. I loved all the different characters. I loved that they were unique and they could handle all the different situations. The music's great. They definitely hit that Castlevania musical score. I like a lot of the quality of life improvements that come with modern retro style games. I still think it's the best time to be playing retro style games because everything's super accessible and there's something for everyone. If you loved Curse of the Moon, if you love Castlevania, I obviously feel like Curse of the Moon 2 is a game that you should pick up. It's really cool. As far as being able to play it on the Switch, being able to play Castlevania on a handheld, honestly, we played some of them on the channel. Game Boy Castlevania is way too freaking hard. Way problematic. This is probably one of the really great handheld, classic style Castlevania.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel good about Curse of the Moon 2.
So one thing I should mention before we go, because I feel like some people might wonder, since this is the sequel to Curse of the Moon, why might they not do this one in a sort of 16-bit style or Super Nintendo style, or maybe make it more like Rondo of Blood or something like that? But I think when they did the Kickstarter, the idea from the beginning was this is the 8-bit series. So I think that's why they didn't jump into making it look like a Super Nintendo game or something. So I'm fine with that. And I'm always fine with more Castlevania games. Castlevania style games because I grew up loving those type of games, and if they make a third one or a fourth one, I'll play it because why not? I'm still playing Castlevania 1 over and over, so I could always play these kind of games, so it's good.
They do say variety is the spice of life.
Well, I like to play other stuff too. But, there's nothing wrong with coming back and playing these type of games.
It's pretty cool. Check it out. Just came out.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.